Now today I'm going to start with topographical maps. Now this topographical maps are asked in the board question paper for 20 marks, and it is a compulsory question that comes under part 1. And, uh, and see now here, this is the book, the topographical map book of Anis that we have given to each student. Now this map, I have taken all the board questions from 2005 to 2018, and we'll be covering all different types of questions. So this is more than sufficient for your practice. And before I start with these maps, I will be explaining certain things, and then as and when I explain, I'll be doing the maps as well. Then it becomes easy. I won't be doing all the theory first and then going to maps. I won't be doing that. I'll be doing simultaneously, so it becomes understanding becomes easy. So now, before I start with topographical maps, what is the meaning of topographical map? The meaning of topographical map is that whatever feature that you see on the ground, that is represented on these maps. That is topographical map. And but we are using a scale. Like in mathematics, like in graphs, there is a scale on the x-axis and y-axis. Similarly, whatever features that you see on the ground, be it man-made or natural, all those features you are going to represent, or you're going to see on these maps using a certain scale. Now, these are the two different types of scale. The third one is also there. I'll be doing that in the next frame. This is representative fraction and verbal scale, and another one is graphical scale. So these are the three scale that we are going to see in topographical map. Now I will be explaining these maps little more in detail. Now this is the topographical map that you generate. So this is the topographical map that you get in your board exam and also in your school and Anish test. Now here in this you will see that this map actually it's a mix. There is a mix of colors, like if you see, like there is yellow color, you will see green patches here, then some white patches also you will see here and there. And if you closely see, there are red also, some red patches also there, and some wavy lines here and there. Now these colors you're going to find in all the maps. Like either there would be more concentration of yellow, there would be little of green, but more of green or less of yellow. Red would be there. So what do these colors denote? They have a certain meaning. Like the yellow color that you see is actually, it means that this area is cultivable land. So here cultivation takes place. So wherever yellow is there, which means that cultivation is that's like agriculture is the main occupation there. So cultivation is done there. Green patch means here, this green wash that you see, it means that it is a forest land, like it is a forested area. Forested area, sometimes they even ask like wooded land. Wooded land means it is forest. So this is shown with green color. The white patches that you see here, like these patches that you see, now this is like an uncultivated area, so nothing can be grown there. Either it is barren, there would be stones, or it could be a rocky area, so it would be infertile land, so nothing can be cultivated there. So that is why it is given in white. Okay, and there are some red and the black and blue, so many other colors also are there if you see very closely, but that I will be explaining later. But the more prominent ones are the yellow, which means that it is a cultivable land. Agriculture is the main occupation that is asked most of the time. Green, which means it's a forest area, it's a jungle. And here then there is white patch that is there. The white patches are found here, which means it's an uncultivated area, barren land. It is unfit for cultivation. So this map means that whatever you see on the ground has been represented on the map using a scale. Now, like I said, there could be, now this is a river that is there flowing. These are forests that are there. Now there are wells, roads, everything is shown there. So these are actually shown these are seen on the ground, and they are shown here on the map. Now you can show this using a scale. Now what are the scales? There are three different ways in you can show. The first one is RF. RF means representative fraction. This is a short form, but you have to write representative fraction. It is 1:50,000, which is given in ratio. So no units are used there. So this is a universally accepted scale because it can be converted into any units because it's given in ratio. So RF or representative fraction is a scale that is used to show these whatever features are there on the ground on the map. The second scale is called as verbal scale or statement scale. Here it is given 2 centimeter to 1 kilometer. If you see in your topo maps also, always it is given 2 centimeter to 1 kilometer. Why is it called as verbal scale or statement scale? Because it is given in statement form. There are units, 2 centimeter to 1 kilometer. Now what does this mean? It means that 2 centimeter means 2 centimeter on the map. So whatever you see at a distance of 2 centimeter is actually those features that you see on the ground at at a distance of 1 kilometer. Now you will see there are some digits given here, 15, 16, 17, 18. Now between these two digits, 18 and 19 or 20, 21, between these two digits, the distance when you see, the measurement, when you measure, it is always 2 centimeter. It is always 2 centimeter. So these grids that you see, these lines, vertical lines that you see, or these horizontal lines that you see, they are at a distance of 2 centimeter from each other. So that's why they are saying 2 centimeter to 1 kilometer means the 2 centimeter that you see here is actually what you see on the ground of 1 kilometer. These features that you see, these features that you see are the features that you see on the ground of 1 kilometer. That is the scale. That is verbal scale. RF 1 is to 50,000. And there is another one, linear or graphical scale, which are shown in this form. Like it is 0. On the right hand side you will see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. See, it is given kilometers here. So on the right side of the 0, everything is given in kilometers. And on the left side of the 0, it is actually divided into meters. Understood? So this is another scale, linear or graphical. Then there is representative fraction, which is very important. And then there is verbal scale. All these actually is one and the same. They are quite similar, like in meaning. So these are the three scales. So this is what we are going to do. I will be explaining in detail RF and verbal scale. Yeah, like I said, topographical maps are actually what you see on the ground are shown on the map. So using a scale. So in the previous this I had shown like representative fraction. What is representative fraction? It is the ratio between the distance on the map and the corresponding actual distance on the ground. So which means RF, it is given in ratio 1 is to 50,000 like I said. So RF is equal to distance on the map upon actual distance on the ground. So when it is in the same units, the unit gets cancelled, be it centimeters or any units that you take. So it is 1 upon 50,000. So 1 is to 50,000 is actually the ratio which is taken by the Survey Department of India for all the topographical maps. So 1 is to 50,000 is the RF, that is the representative fraction. Now here representative fraction, like I said, it is 1 is to 50,000. Now what does this mean? 1 is to 50,000. 1 is actually what you see on the map and 50,000 is what you see on the ground. The units, that is the measurement, which means 1 centimeter on the map, that is 1 centimeter on the map is equal to what you see 50,000 centimeters on the ground. Understood? Like I said, the features what you see on the ground is what you represent on the map. Since distance on the ground is not measured in centimeter, because I am using a unit to remove the ratio, you are using a unit, that is 1 centimeter when I am using. So for this 50,000 on the ground also I have to use centimeter. So 1 centimeter on the map is equal to 50,000 on the ground, but centimeter cannot be measured. You can't use centimeter on the ground. So I convert the centimeter either in meter or in kilometer or in both, like whatever they ask. Now when I am converting 1 centimeter, that is 50,000 on the map that I see, which I am converting that into kilometer, I divide by 1 lakh, which comes to 0.5 kilometer. Or when I am converting into meters, I divide by 100, so it comes 500 meters. So which means that whatever I see on the map of 1 centimeter is actually I see on the ground of half a kilometer or 500 meter. So this is how you convert that. So this is 1 is to 50,000 is the ratio of RF, and actually it means that 1 centimeter is half a kilometer or 500 meter. Now I will go to the next part, which is verbal scale or statement scale. Yeah, this is the second scale, which is called as verbal or statement scale. Statement, which means that it is the scale is written in the statement form. like 2 centimeter to 1 kilometer. Like in that topo map that I had shown, on the right hand side, extreme right, there is that verbal scale that is written, which is 2 centimeter to 1 kilometer, which indicates that 2 centimeter means which you see on the map. So whatever you see on the map of 2 centimeter is actually what you see on the ground of 1 kilometer distance. Now here, see here, note I even mentioned here, note in representative fraction, what was the scale? 1 is to 50,000, and what did we arrive at? That is 1 centimeter is equal to 0.5 kilometer or half a kilometer. I am taking in kilometer here, which is 2 centimeter is equal to 1 kilometer. Now how did I get 2 centimeter? I just doubled it. Instead of making it half a kilometer, I am just rounding off to 1 kilometer. So this 1 centimeter also I have to double. So this 1 centimeter becomes 2 centimeter. Now 0.5, which means double, which means it becomes 1 kilometer. So which means 2 centimeter on the map is actually 1 kilometer on the ground. This is same as this because I am just doubling it, like the centimeter and the kilometer. So this is what you see at the bottom of the topo map. 2 centimeter is equal to 1 kilometer, which is actually 1 is to 50,000 when you take it in ratio form, which is representative fraction. The third one, scale, which is mostly it is not asked, the ones that are asked is representative fraction and sometimes verbal scale, linear or graphical scale. Now what is this? Now they take a straight line and they divide this line into two parts. That is, on the right side of the zero they have made primary divisions, and the second side, on the left hand side, it is secondary division. Secondary division means they have converted that into meters, and on the right hand side, primary divisions, they have converted into kilometers. Now what they have done is, whatever you see, it is actually the distance that you see on the ground. That is 0 to 1 means 1 kilometer, which is actually you see it on the ground. So this scale is generally used to measure distance on the map. Sometimes you get questions to distance them, for between 2 points on the map. So that rather than using a ruler, you can directly place that twine or that string here from 0 till where that measurement you want to measure. Sometimes it will fall at 3. If suppose if it falls here somewhere after 3, then that much part you can take it on the other side. That is 0 to this that you see. This is 1000 meters, which is actually 1 kilometer. And these 10 divisions that you see, like 1, 2, 3, 4, all those are in meters. So 100 meter, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, then 1000. Similarly, these are all converted into meters. So this is how the three different scales are used: representative fraction, verbal scale, and linear or graphical scale. Now we'll start with grid reference. Now under grid reference you will come across two terms, eastings and northings. This is very important in topo map because based on this many questions are asked, like 4 figure, 6 figure for location of place. So this is very important. So please understand this. Now what is the meaning of a grid reference? Now a grid is basically, like, grid means these are like squares that are formed, and these are formed because of set of lines that intercept each other, and they are used to show the exact location of a place on the map. So that is called as a grid. Now most of the maps that we see basically have latitudes and longitudes, and then when they intersect they form a grid. So that grid, with the help of those latitudes and longitudes, you can locate places on the map. If you know the latitude and longitude of a given place, like for example Mumbai, you can show Mumbai on the map. Similarly, there are some places like smaller areas, like for example a place like Chandivali. Like Chandivali is in Powai, like Mumbai is in Powai, Powai is in Mumbai, and Chandivali is in Powai. So to show to give details of Chandivali, it becomes very difficult to with the help of like latitudes and longitudes. It's not possible. So we use these red lines, vertical and horizontal lines, which are called as eastings and northings. With the help of these, we are able to give information of that smaller area on topo maps. Now what are these eastings? Like eastings are like basically vertical, these red lines that you see, these are vertical lines. They run from north to south here, and as they move, they are moving, the distance is increasing from the origin. Now this southwest corner of the map is called as a starting point here. Like in graphs, basically in mathematics, like in graphs you will have the origin. and this is your, in graphs this is taken as the x-axis. So similarly, the eastings are your x-axis, and this origin is actually in grid reference. This is called as the point of reference, grid reference. So this is the starting point. So see, these lines that you see, the vertical lines, they are moving towards the east. So as they are moving towards the east from the origin, the distance is also increasing. See here, this is 10, this is 12, this is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and so on. So now, because they are increasing, the distance is increasing as one moves from the origin to the east. This is called as eastings. So see, the distance increases as we move towards the east from the origin. So this is called as the eastings. Now this is called as the northing. Northings. Now northings means from the starting point, that is the point of reference. You know that as one moves towards the north, the distance increases. So see these horizontal lines. So these red horizontal lines indicate the northing. So when you draw these lines, as one moves from the origin, the distance increases. See, this is 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So as one moves towards the north, the distance increases and also the numbers are also increasing here. So those are called as northings. Now one most important point is, in graphs, like I said, your eastings actually are like your x-axis and your northings are your y-axis. Now in graphs, generally the digits start with, like, you can even start from, it's like a one digit number also, it's like 0, 1, 2, that way. But in you have to remember that in eastings and northings always two digits are used. Even if it starts from 0, it has to start from 0, 0. 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, so on, and it will go on till 99. You can't write 100. When it comes 100 after 99, it starts from 0, 0 again. So it is all, there are always two digits that are used in eastings and northings. And also, like I said, the distance between the two easting, any two distance between two eastings, the distance is 2 centimeter on the map. 2 centimeter, like I had explained in scale, 2 centimeter is actually 1 kilometer on the ground. So the distance between two eastings are always is always 2 centimeter. Similarly, the distance between two northing, if you see, it is always 2 centimeter, which is 1 kilometer. So this is how. So most important in northing and easting is, these are, just remember the digits that lie here on the x-axis, like here, are your eastings, and the digits that lie on the y-axis, like when you compare it with graph, these are your y-axis. So these are eastings and northings.
3.
Now the eastings and the northings which I had shown, now I have merged both the eastings and the northings together. So when I merged, I got a grid square. So when these the horizontal lines and the vertical lines were merged, I got grid squares. Now, this is what you see on topo sheets, and all these lines that are there, the eastings and northings, are shown with red color. And like I had mentioned, always the eastings are the ones that you see on the x-axis. Don't confuse. And this, the digits that you see on the y-axis are your northings, and they are shown always with two digits. Even if it starts from 1, it won't be 1, 2, 3, it would be 0, 1, 0, 2, and so on. And it won't be 100 because it becomes 3 digits, so it will be 99, and then it will start with 0, 0 again. So see, this is how it looks when both the eastings and the northings are merged. So now here, now the same thing I am comparing it with a graph that you all have done in math. Now in graph, what you all have is, you all have the x-axis and you all have the y-axis, and I have put the coordinates here like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9. Now here I want to find the x and the y coordinates of A. Now what did I do? I wrote 3 and I wrote 7 here. So this is how I write. I write the x coordinate and then I write the y coordinate, right? And I separate it with a comma. The same thing I will be doing with respect to the eastings and northings. Always the eastings are written first, because like I said, the eastings are your x-axis, and then your northings, because your northings are your y-axis. Now see here, P. I have put a point here, P. Now what is the easting and the northing, or the grid reference? I will write 12, because exactly this is 12 and then 26. So my grid reference here is easting, northing is what? 12 and 26. So this is my grid reference. If I ask what is the grid reference of point P, then I will write 12 and 26. Note there are no commas or no bracket like you use in graph. Understood? So this is how you find the grid reference of a given point. Yeah, now in the last frame I had explained what are eastings and northings. I'll just repeat. Eastings are what you find on the x-axis because these are vertical lines. So these vertical lines, when they run from north to south, here they meet here. So like this, these are the lines. So these are your eastings. So as we go towards the east, the distance also increases. Like this is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So as you go towards the east, the numbers and the distance are increasing. So they are called as eastings. And these are your northings. That is from the origin, from the point of reference, you are going towards the north. So the numbers are increasing towards the north. So these are your northings. So eastings, northings, same as, quite similar to your graph, like x-axis and y-axis. Also, I had explained when you write eastings and northings, you will first write the eastings first and then the northings, like how you write x coordinate and y coordinate. No commas, no bracket. Now, what are the ways in which you can locate a map? There are two methods: 4-figure grid reference and 6-figure grid reference. Now, what is 4-figure? 4-figure grid reference means 4 digits. So, which means that only 4 digits would be there, which means the eastings and the northings, because 2 eastings and 2 northings together, everything will make 4 digits. So, that is simple as that. 6-figure means instead of 4, 6 digits, which means 3 eastings would be there and 3 northings would be there. So other than these two, one more digit would be there and a northing, one more third digit would be there. I will explain that after I finish with 4-figure. Now see, as I had explained, 4-figure grid reference, first how to write the grid reference here. First, this is point P. Okay, now I need the 4-figure grid reference of P. So P, first I will see what the easting is. So the easting exactly here is 12. So I write 12 first because that is my easting. And then I will see my northing. So point P is here. So my northing is 26. So 26 is my northing. So what is the 4-figure? See, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the basic. So 12 is my easting, 26 is my northing. So this is my 4-figure. Now next I will come to T, point T. What is point T? A grid reference, 4-figure grid reference. First I will see what the easting is. So easting is this down, so exactly down. So this is 10. So I write 10 first. And then my northing. And northing is here. This is my northing. So this 27 is my northing. So I write 27. So again this is a 4-figure grid reference. Next is R. R comes here. So my exactly when I go down, my easting is 14. So I write 14 first. And my northing is this, the horizontal line here. So that is 25, sorry. So this is 25. S, point S, this is my, what you call my easting. So 11 is my easting here for S. And the northing is 23 here, this side. So 23 is my northing. So this is how I get my 4-figure grid reference. First I write my easting and then I write my northing. So all together anyways there are 4 digits. So this is my 4-figure grid reference. Now I will show you, now these points were exactly on the given easting and northing. Now in the next one I will show you when the points would be at this in middle, like between these 2 eastings and these 2 northings. So how will you put the grid reference there? Now the previous easting and northing was very simple because it was exactly on the given easting and the given northing. Now sometimes there could be cases where the point or the object would be between 2 easting or between 2 northing. Now here the first one, M. Now see here, point M. Now M, now when you consider the easting, so see, if you see this is the easting, okay, so it lies between 12 and 13. So it is neither on 12 or 13. So it lies between 12 and 13. So what will you do is, you will take the easting that is I mean on the left of the object, that is the point. Because see, when you go from east to towards the east, like 10, 11, 12, then 13. So this object has not crossed 13. No, it is here. It has crossed 12. So generally you will take the easting that is to the left. So 12 you will take first. So my easting would be 12 here. So this was my easting, right? Now, with respect to northing means as you go towards the north. So this point lies between 27 and 28, which means that you will take 27 because as you're going up, so this has crossed, okay? This has crossed. So then you have not yet crossed 28. So it is between 27 and 28. So you take the what you call the northing, which is below the object, which means 27. So you will take 27. So your easting and your northing is 12 and 27. Now the next one, N. Now N, if you see, first you will see the easting. So point N is here. So you will look down here. So it is between 14 and 15. So it is neither on 14 nor on 15. So it lies between that. So it has crossed 14. It has not crossed 15 here. So it is here. So you will take 14 as your easting. Now northing, if you see this, it lies exactly on this northing, right? It does not lie between any two northings. So it is exactly on 24. So I write 24 here. So I get my easting as 14 and my northing as 24. Next is O, point O. Now O again, if you see, first I will see my easting. So I go down here. I will see this, the x-axis here. So here. So this point exactly when I take it down, it falls on 12. So my easting is exactly 12. So I will take my easting as 12. Now when I look at my northings are these digits. So this point lies between 24 and 25. So it lies, I mean above 24, which means this cross 24, you can take it that way. So I will take 24 here and not 25. So I will take 24. Now the next one, Q. Now Q is here. So now Q, now I take the easting again. So 13 and 14, it lies between 13 and 14. So I will take the previous one, 13 and not 14. So 13 I will take. And when I see this point, it lies between these two northing, that is 24 and 25. So I will take the northing which is down, which is 24. So these are the many cases that I have given, like when the object or the point lies on the easting, on the northing, or between two eastings or northings. Always remember, if the point of the object lies between two easting, you will take the easting that is to the left of the object. And when you are taking northing, then the northing which is below the object, that is what you will take with respect to northing. So these are the 4-figure grid reference. You have to practice this and only then you will be able to get this right. Now I will go to the next one, which is 6-figure grid reference.
3.
Yeah, now we go to 6-figure grid reference. Now 6-figure grid reference, as I said, the only difference is in the previous 4-figure it was 4 digits. So 2 eastings and 2 northings as it was given. 6-figure, the thing is there would be 6 digits. So 2 as it is, your eastings that you see like 11, 12, 13, whatever. And the third one would be an extra easting that you will have to find. Similarly, your northing, the 2 northing, which means these 2 digits that you write here. And the third northing would be the one that you find in between. See, the only difference between 4-figure and 6-figure is 4-figure just gives you an approximate location. Okay, like for example, this Q was between 2 easting and 2 northing. So we just wrote what? We just wrote 13. Actually, it is not 13. It has to be somewhere accurately somewhere in between 13 and 14. Right? Similarly, northing, we just wrote what? 24, which is not an exact location. We just gave them an approximate. 6-figure will help you to find the exact third, what you call easting, and the exact third northing. So that is what 6-figure does. So that third easting and third northing you have to find. Now how will we do that? Now first I have taken 2 simple ones, 2 simple points here. The first one is P. Now for 6-figure P, the basic one is you will first see what is down on the x-axis and on the y-axis for northing, for easting and northing. So P here, exactly the first one I write is 12, right? So I got 12. here. Okay. The next one, now for the third easting, this is important because it will give me the exact location. Now this P exactly lies on 12. So I got 12 here. So my third easting would be 0 because it is exactly on that line. So I write with a different color. In your exam you have to, don't use any separate colors, just for you to understand. So 12 and 0. Now what is my northing? Northing, exactly my P lies on northing 26. So I write 26 here. And for my third northing, obviously it will be 0 again because it is exactly on that line, that is 26. So then here my northing would be, third one will be 0 again. So 1, 2, 0, these are my 3 eastings here, and 2, 6, 0 are my 3 northings. So this comes to 6 digit. So I get the exact location of P. Anyways with 4 digit I got the exact location, but with 6 digit this is how I get. Now with S, point S. Now point S lies here. So see my easting, point is here. So my easting is 11. So I write 11 here. And since it is exactly on this easting, my easting, third easting would be 0. My northing would be 23 because again the horizontal line here 23. So I write 23. And my northing, third northing would be again 0 because it is exactly on that northing, which is 0. So this is how I get my P and S, because it was, why I wrote 0, because it was exactly on those lines and easting and northing. Now I'll go to the other points, M, R, N, those other points. Now see this, the previous one was very simple. Now look at this point M. Now point M, if you look at, now this point M lies between 12 and 13 and also between 27 and 28. So then you can't, you have to find an exact location for 6 figures. So I have just magnified this M here. Now what I have done is I have made this box. This box I have made here. Now here what I have done is 12 and 13 is my easting here that I have written down, 12 and 13. And this M lies between 27 and 28. So 27 and 28. So this is the position where it lies on the extreme. Now I have to find the 6 figure with reference of point M. So what will I do is, this box, that is this box that I had initially told you all, like this box is at a distance of 2 centimeter, that is the distance between 2 easting and 2 northing is 2 centimeter each, that is here. So 2 centimeter means there are how many millimeters? Like there are 20 millimeters. Like in 1 centimeter there is 10 millimeter. So in 2 centimeter there are 20 millimeters. So what I will do is, this box I will divide into 20 parts. Divisions. See, between 12 and 13 I have divided 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on. 20 divisions I have made. Similarly, the northings also I am going to divide into 20 parts. So 1, 2, 3, 4 this way. Now this I am doing to find my third easting and my third northing. Now see, this point, after I divide, I see where this point lies on which division. So when I counted, this is my easting. So when I counted, this came on the 18th division. 18th division here. So I wrote 18 here. And here when I counted my northing, like this is the horizontal line that I made to get my northing. So this I found, this is on the 16th division. Now I can't write 12, 18, I can't write like this. I can't write 12, 18 and then I can't write 27, 16. Then this won't come to 6 digit. 12, see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what I have to do is, this 18th division I have to divide by 2 and the 16th division I have to divide by 2 because I am dividing this into 20 divisions. So I have to do that. So what I will get is 12 as I have got, because this lies between 12 and 13, so I take the previous one. So 12, and this falls on 18th division, my easting. So I do 18 divided by 2, which comes to 9. So I got my third easting, and with respect to my northing, I get 27 here because 27 is my northing, because this lies between these two. I have to take the lower one, and 16 divided by 2 2, which I get 8. So my 6-figure grid reference is 12, 9, 2, 7, 8. Always remember the whatever division you get. Now suppose if my point was lying somewhere here, so this would have been my 1, 2, 3. So 3 divided by 2, so I get 1.5. So I will take the second division, 2. I will take 2. So because it is 1.5, I will take 2. So if it's an odd one, like suppose if I get 5, if I get 5th division, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my point falls here. So I will write 5 divided by 2, which is 2.5. So I will get my third easting as 3 because it's 2.5. Okay, so then that is how I do. So whatever, whichever division it falls on, I have to divide it by 2 because I am dividing my divisions into 20 divisions. Understood? So this is how I get my 6-figure grid reference for point M. This is, I am taking the next point, which is Q. This is that box. So this box, which means my easting is 13 and 14. I have represented here 13, 14 as my easting. And my northing is 24 and 25. This Q lies between 24, 25. So 24, 25. Now I have divided this box, that is this box, into 20 divisions properly. Understood? Now I will see where this point Q lies. This is point Q. This point Q, that is this one, where it lies. So I draw a line, straight line, and I will see it will fall on which easting. Down, this is your easting. And then also this horizontal line I will draw towards this side so that I will get to know my third northing. So when I see my Q is on 1, 2, 3, third division. So this is the third division. So I wrote easting, that is third division. And my northing, if you see, this is my 10th, 11th, 12th division. So I wrote 12th division. So when I write my eastings and northings down, my first basic easting would be 13 because it lies between 13 and 14. So 13 I will write first. And my third easting is the third division. So like I said, you have to divide by 2. So 3 divided by 2, I get 1.5. Now 1.5 means I can round it off to 2. Understood? So 1.5 means I can write 2. And then my northing is 24 because my point is here. So I will take this first. So 24 I write. And my northing is my 12th division, like I said, because I am going up, so this side. So 12 divided by 2, it comes to 6. So this is my Q point Q, 6-figure grid reference, 13, 2, 2, 4, 6. Now the rest you all can do it on your own, like N, like I said, I will divide this, and the third northing will be 0. Because this exactly comes 24, 0 will be my northing, whereas my easting would be around 14, 8. I may get around 8 or 9. So that is how I, so now the rest I will do this more in Zoom lecture. We will be having Zoom where I will be doing the scale part again, and also 4-figure and 6-figure and the climate table, which I had just done one table with you all, 2 tables with you all. So all the remaining climate table and the 4-figure and 6-figure I will be doing with you all in the Zoom class. So please revise this and come for the lecture.